I will never have a fear, for my Lord is ever near, and in him so often I confide. He's the keeper of my soul, since I gave him full control, and he placed me on the winning side. Well, I'm on the winning side. Yes, I'm on the winning side. Out in sin, no more will I abide. I've enlisted in the fight for the cause of truth and right. Praise the Lord, I'm on the winning side. Hi everybody, how are you? Fibromyalgia. This is the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. I want to talk about my journey of trying to find energy for fibromyalgia. When it started hitting me in my 30s, I thought it was perimenopause, because that's a pretty common multi-symptom type condition that women can go through after giving birth. Or actually, I mean, you don't have to have had kids either. I'm sorry. I was just thinking I had 3 and I just had my 3rd, and I was exhausted during that pregnancy. And I don't want to talk about it too much because it does kind of give some anxiety to my 3rd little girl. She's not little anymore. She's pushing 30 soon. I wonder how she feels about that. But, sorry. Anyway, my journey with exhaustion, fatigue, weight gain, weight loss has been a real struggle since my 30s. And not having any kind of answers has just, it makes it worse. It really started affecting my emotions and my relationships, and just made life so much harder than I expected it to be. I often compared myself to other people around me my age. There would be the women at church, there would be the women in the neighborhood, there'd be the women, the moms of kids at school, and just, I wasn't one of them. I was far from being one of them. Just getting through the day was enough for me. Now I've got to do housework and manage the kids and be organized enough to do, everything. I tried being the soccer mom. That didn't work. That didn't work at all. I feel bad because I keep looking back at my young motherhood thinking that I could have done better. What could I have done that was better? What should I have done to make my life easier and theirs too? I blamed myself for everything that didn't go well, and there was a lot that didn't go well. I also allowed other people to blame me because I didn't understand that I had fibromyalgia. It's funny because I remember in my 20s being part of a mentoring program for women at the church I was going to. And the woman who was picked as my spiritual mentor had fibromyalgia. And I sat across the table from her thinking to myself, she's just making excuses, right? I'm eating my words. Because I hit my 30s, I had 3 kids, and I was not the same. My body changed. Something was wrong. And it really wasn't until a friend from church, and this was years later, like 15 years after that. And she handed me a book, said, this book I got for myself because of my symptoms. Turns out I don't have fibromyalgia, but maybe you do. She had MS, so she had a whole other different kind of struggles. And that's the thing is, fibromyalgia is an elimination diagnosis. So you've been tested for other conditions that can be tested. And fibromyalgia, you cannot test for. Even that chart with the pain centers or pain points doesn't really apply to me because I'm so used to pain that you touch those points and they're no longer extra sensitive. But a child would run up to me and hit me on the arm, Miss D, because I was a preschool teacher. That felt like a bruise. So my pain in my 30s were really not in the joints at all, or in pain centers, or wherever those pain points are. And still, I don't believe. I mean, I touch the different areas in my body, and it's more like, I gotta adjust my neck or something. So I didn't relate to that. That's not even a valid test, I don't think. And so I thanked her for the book, and I read the book, and it put me in a new trajectory, a new direction in my life, giving me new ideas that I haven't heard from the doctor, and gave me a sense of hope, because it was about guaifenesin and using guaifenesin to relieve the pain. And it's not just taking the guaifenesin, but following this protocol, because there's certain toxins found in plants that will block the guaifenesin from working. And yes, guaifenesin does come originally from a plant source, but however, it's synthetic. I believe it's synthetic now. So it's the compound in guaifenesin that works. And I don't know if you know, guaifenesin is commonly used for loosening up phlegm in the lungs. It's in Mucinex, it's in the cough syrups. But the guaifenesin I needed to take was extended release. So I would take 2 pills every day. And then they would last from 10 to 12 hours after taking it. So I wanted to be really particular about when to take those. And I generally kept it in between, 6 and 8 a.m. and then 6 and 8 p.m. Ideal. Perfect time to be taking the guaifenesin. I had to give up all the tea. And in this process of learning about how guaifenesin works, there were other things that I needed to get done with the doctor. I wanted to have a diagnosis of something. So I went into the doctor with my charts and my health journal and saying, I don't feel rested when I wake up. So then they had me do a sleep study and discovered I did not have apnea. So now there's another route we have to go to do a full, whatever full blood panel they're allowed to do with health insurance. finding nothing outside of normal. Nothing is low. Nothing is too high. One doctor I went to said, well, my iron stores, even though they're within range, could be higher because the older we get, we should have it higher. I'm like, okay. So, so I started taking iron pills, and that didn't make a difference at all. Elimination diet after elimination diet after. I tried going vegan. I did that for a year, and I was very particular. I read labels. Anything, dairy substitute that had casein in it, I did not consume. And by the end of the year, my symptoms were getting worse, and I just gave it up. So I didn't continue. And I tried other elimination diets to just kind of go around the gamut of, well, these are the foods with common allergy symptoms or whatever, common allergies. Eliminate all corn, and then eliminate all sugar, eliminate all dairy, eliminate all caffeine, eliminate, and just go around this circle of these are the things, eliminate corn. Oh, I think I said that. Let's see. I did go grain-free at one point, and my body started losing weight, but I still didn't have an understanding of what a keto diet is. So, I still had a lot of high vegetables and everything. But this is what it's like. You wake up every morning, you're not feeling well, you're feeling tired, and you want answers because you don't want to do this all your life. My journey finally led me to the guaifenesin protocol, and everything changed for me once I started taking the extended release twice a day. And even if I missed a dose, because, okay, what happens to me is I feel so good that I don't even think about it. It's when I feel really awful that I think about, what could I be taking? What could I be doing? I don't know if you're like that at all, but that's how I am. But then my symptoms would start to come back a little bit slowly, and I'll realize, oh, I've been forgetting the guaifenesin, get back on track, and then the symptoms slowly going away. I did not look deeply enough into the protocol to realize or understand the whys. Now, menopause came and changed my life again. To the point where guaifenesin alone was not working. Although my IBS was still gone, that's great. And I was still pretty happy, joyful mood. But I'm hungry all the time, and I can't stop eating, and I'm starting to gain a lot of weight, and starting to get inflamed, and in a lot of pain again, and it was getting ridiculous. I went from 140 pounds, I think, to 190. Ooh. Last time I was 190 pounds, I was pregnant with my third baby. So, I had to do something. So, I thought, I'll stop eating grain. And that was all I did. I'll stop eating grain. And that didn't help because I craved it even more. I'll stop eating sugar. I was getting really frustrated because it just wasn't working. And of course, my now husband is a fabulous cook, and he made really good, yummy food, and it was hard not to eat. It was really hard not to eat. Okay, so I'm hungry all the time. I'm not exercising anymore. I'm working more hours. And the stress of working more hours is really getting to me. I'm gaining a lot of weight. There's so many factors involved. And I was scrolling through YouTube, watching a bunch of videos. And one of them was Jordan Peterson. Regardless of how you may feel about Jordan Peterson, he talked about his daughter having an autoimmune issue and going on a diet of just meat and fat, just beef, fat, salt, and water. And then he said they call it the carnivore diet. She calls it lion. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I found her videos. I found a bunch of information like on carnivore based on that. As I'm watching, I'm looking up articles going, what do you mean? What's a carnivore diet? What's a lion diet? Why autoimmune? She has a condition where her joints deteriorate. So, and it's just kind of happenstance how she discovered eating just meat and fat, just meat. And her symptoms went away and she got stronger and she got healthier and everything went better for her. So of course that, you're tired, you're grumpy, you're trying to find answers. So her video led to another, and I found a whole bunch of people talking online about eating carnivore. And I could not believe the things they were saying. You don't need fiber? What? How are we going to get rid of the food and everything if we're not eating fiber? Our guts won't work, right? You don't need plants. You don't need fruit or vegetables. Well, come on, they're packed with nutrients and vitamins and minerals. We need all that stuff. And I really can't remember who it was I watched. It was probably Dr. Ken Berry. That was probably who I started watching really regularly to get more information on carnivore and how it has helped his wife's condition, and she's more high-fat keto, and how it helped with his weight gain condition. And so I thought, if the food I'm eating is causing me inflammation and pain and fatigue and my fibro symptoms to come back, why don't I just give it a 30-day try? See what happens. I can stick to it for 30 days, and if I get really sick, then I can stop and go back to what I was doing before. I wasn't getting sick. I was losing weight. I was feeling better. I was starting to run up and down stairs. I was starting to feel younger than I had ever felt before that I can remember. And I spent almost 4 years, starting in February. It'll be 4 years, carnivore. Just amazing. Have I eaten regular food here and there? Yes. But for the most part, if I want to feel great, if I want to be lightweight, if I want my fascia swelling to go away, I don't eat plants. I don't eat sugar. None of it. So, but do I still feel tired and achy in the morning? Yeah. Not every day, but I do have those times. And I'm still trying to figure out, well, why do I still feel like this? What is my body doing? And I think that's where the Randall cycle comes in to play. So there's something about the body will make glucose if you don't eat it. And then there's something about my body that it triggers the kind of response I don't want, because I'm not using sugar for energy. The reason for it to be produced would only be to wake me up in the morning, so I'm not sleeping. I don't know. Why does the body do that? Why does the body go, okay, let's make a little glucose, let's wake her up? I don't know. I don't understand it. Maybe somebody has a good idea, like what is the Randall cycle, what is ATP, what is. All I know is that the body uses two forms for energy, right? If you have glucose stores, then it will use the glucose. If you have too much, like you eat a very high carbohydrate diet, it'll store the carbohydrates, into fat. If you eat too much protein, it'll store that into fat. And then when the body is out of glucose, then it'll go to the fat cells and convert it into energy. And that's when it turns into, the body switches to turn into fat burning mode. So I can tell my body has some severe symptoms when I'm glucose heavy and when I'm fat burning mode. So I consider it heavy when I have too much glucose in my body. So I wake up, I'm a little tired, my joints hurt, maybe I feel a little bit of a headache, I could be dehydrated, so I drink salted water, take a hot shower, and I feel a little bit better. Something about that, the water. I think hot water is therapy. I really do. Hot water with Epsom salt is even better. So those are practical things I do every day to help me to get moving in the morning. Another idea is to actually do some stretching and easy exercise. No jumping around and be all crazy, cardio, but just some simple moves of particular stretching. I like eccentric stretch. And then finding ways to use up the glucose that's in the body and then get into a fat burning state. Once I go into ketogenic mode, I feel great the rest of the day, and I'm able to pace my day and work 13 hours straight and not have to worry about dying halfway through. And it's not like I will walk fast at work or run through the halls or try to hurry on to my next assignment. No, I'm not. I'm not that person every day. If I were to rate my average day from 1 to 10, 1 being comatose or dying, and 10 being on top of the world with the most energy I've ever had, I'm somewhere around, I'm not going to say it, I'm somewhere around a 7. I was almost going to say the two numbers together, but I'm not going to do that. I'm generally around a 7 for most every day. Before that, I would say I'd be more like a 4 or 5. So carnivore has really given me an improvement. There are days where I'm more like 8 or 9, which is great. I think I only had one day when my first experience of fat burning mode, and I was bouncing off the walls with energy, no pain. The brain was like super wired and organized, and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. Like I was really high on something. I was high on ketones, and the body has found a way to subdue that, which is, I find, highly disappointing. Maybe if I could be more consistent every morning I wake up, do some stretching and exercise, and before the shower, and then see if I can get that day going. Anyway, so what is your day like? I do remember how awful the days were as far as energy is concerned. There was no amount of sleep I could sleep to get any better. If I did too much one day, I'd pay for it in two. This is just really typical. So how is your day going? What's a day in your life looking like? I would love for you to leave me comments below so that we can have that conversation and go back and forth with ideas and what's working, what's not working. Well, I hope that this video found you well. YouTube will make suggestions of other videos to watch. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And anything I talked about, I might have some links below in the comments. Or, I'm sorry, in the description. I'm always saying the wrong thing. If you follow any of the links, I do receive a small commission. So it helps me out. And you still get the things that you need that you would spend money on anyway. I find most everything on Amazon to help me out. If I find it anywhere else, it's either at the Dollar Tree store or Walmart. So I just want to encourage you to keep looking, keep searching, keep your hopes up, and know that there are answers for you with your fibromyalgia. Bye for now. Well, I'm on the winning side. Yes, I'm on the winning side. Out in sin, no more will I abide. I've enlisted in the fight for the cause of truth and right. Praise the Lord, I'm on the winning side.